Train by day, Kyle Wigginton podcast by night, all day.
Rachel Rodriguez. How are you doing today?
All right. It's another glorious morning.
We made it again, right? Like, we're here. Mm-hmm. That's normally my response to people now. I'm here.
I'm here.
Yeah. So Rachel does painting with a twist. Here at the bar, we call it Paint Dat.
Paint Dat.
It's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of her paintings back here.
Baba Yaga's house.
Baba Yaga. Yeah, that was last week's, right?
Last week's.
Can you turn that one around?
This one?
Yeah, is this the next week's?
This is the inspiration for next week's.
Okay, that's pretty dope. Are your other ones in there too?
I haven't gone really beyond that.
Oh, is that a B? What is this? Oh, that's the one you did last time.
Yeah.
That's dope.
The Death Hawk Moth and the Sake.
Yeah, those are so amazing.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys can see what I'm seeing, they're incredible paintings or drawings. Actually, the sketches for the paintings. Yeah.
Yes.
So, what got you into art in general?
It started off as a means of entertaining myself.
Mm-hmm. Like being young.
Yeah, I was firstborn child, first grandchild. So the oldest, and didn't really have many people to play with other than, friends that I've eventually made at school. But yeah, I would just sit and watch morning cartoons.
You watch Bob Ross?
Bob Ross.
No way. You learned from Bob Ross?
Well, I mean, I think everybody
legend
got to learn a little bit of like peace and calmness from Bob Ross and making happy little accidents.
Yeah. Whenever you have an accident, do you channel your Bob Ross?
Yeah, pretty much. I already have the curly hair for it.
We're going to turn this into a bird. With you, it's more like, we're going to turn this into a skull.
Yeah, yes. Just wherever it, whatever shapes kind of come out of that.
I love the Halloween stuff you've been doing. Mm-hmm. That's so cool. Someone asked me the day what that was, and I was like, Baba Yaga's house. Duh. Yeah. Like, duh.
If you don't know, it's a Slavic folklore where she eats children.
Yeah. I think it's just a way for them to get rid of their kids.
Yeah.
Like, Baba Yaga got her. Oops.
Or I don't want to have to go run around looking for you in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Don't go in the woods.
We had some things like that back where I was from in Arkansas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. They didn't have names. And I think that was part of it. Like, they would just tell you, there's this like blob of something that was out there. And I turned around and it was right behind me.
The gelatinous cube.
Well, it wasn't gelatinous. What they were saying was like a light blob or something.
A light blob?
I remember this. Like, I remember this story a lot. I don't know if something's really out there. I have no idea. But
what's going on in Arkansas?
I have no idea. Aliens, I guess. Who knows? I mean, that's a good way for them to kidnap people, I guess.
Yeah.
People go missing in Arkansas. No one asks questions.
Yeah, it was the light got them.
Yeah.
Or the Rougarou.
Yeah, we don't have Rougarous there.
Yeah.
That's a Louisiana thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's real. You think it's real?
Not really.
Have you ever did a Rougarou painting?
I have not.
Do they even know what it looks like? Is that like a thing?
Kind of like a werewolf.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
a big werewolf or a tiny one?
Like one of those, what is that called? The something devil.
Tasmanian devil? No?
Not the Tasmanian devil. It's another like folklore thing. No? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little early for me right now.
Well, I would know anyway. Even if you lied to me, I'd be like, cool, yeah.
Yeah. The Tasmanian devil.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing off Looney Tunes, right?
Yeah.
It's a real thing too, though, right?
Yeah. Doesn't spin around in circles like that, though.
That's probably what the Rougarou does. That's where they drew their inspiration from.
Yes.
Yeah, there's got to be something that these legends grew out of, Like maybe not an actual Rougarou, they think, but there's got to be something out there.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's tons of animal. I mean, we're still discovering animals.
Yeah.
Now and different species. So
let me ask you this. Do you think there are multiple species of humans on the planet? There's a thing called divergent evolution. Mm-hmm. You ever heard of this? So divergent evolution is where You have one species of humans, and then another like kind of branch. They branch off, but they look so similar to humans that they can't tell each other apart. So they still just like they have this like evolution beside each other.
I think so. I mean, we see that in primates and
Yeah,
other
that's the example.
species. Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know. Someone brought that to my attention a while back, and I thought it was very interesting.
I mean, that is also kind of tied into religion.
Really?
Yeah. With voodoo and other.
If you need to pull this in front of you, you can over this way. Maybe you can look at me.
There you go.
I'll turn this around too. Bam.
Yeah, with voodoo and stuff like that, for sure.
Oh, does the voodoo people think that they're a different species?
Oh, no, not necessarily different species. Just like the way that people have evolved and like separated. There were I'm gonna really mess this up.
It's okay. No one cares. My mom's only listens to this. It's not a big deal.
It's something like there were these pretty much like brothers, and then they were separated, and that's how we had
the biblical thing.
Yeah.
What are their names?
Cain and Abel.
Cain and
for
Abel.
that one, it was brothers.
Yeah, there's been a few of them.
Yeah, that was the original sin, right?
Well,
the
he
murder.
killed his brother, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he kill him before he had kids, or did he already have kids?
I don't remember.
Into that lineage, boom.
But yeah, it was something like that.
That's actually a very interesting point you just made.
And people from the north have Catholicism and like that, and then people down south in Africa had voodoo. And there was a separation of what was the true gods and all of that. I mean, but you see that time and time again with different, like, well, when people just explain their religions and everything. Like, this is the true one.
It drives me nuts when people do that.
Just many names. I
like,
believe.
why do you think yours is the real one? Have you studied any other ones? Well, no. And it's like, if you haven't studied other ones, then you don't have a clue that you're believing in the same exact thing the other religions are. You just haven't talked to people about it. Mm-hmm. That's why I did a podcast. That was about 4 weeks ago now, with a preacher from my hometown. Mm-hmm. And I love the guy to death. We've been friends ever since we were like, tiny humans. But I just can't understand their mindset. Like, he was looking at the Bible. He like quoted off some Latin phrase or something. And, it was, we only believe what's in the Bible. And so they won't study any other religions or anything. All right. I think he said he studied some other religions, but he wouldn't believe any of them. And it's like, you don't see that there's similarities there.
Is it only for like commercial goods that we shop around? I always was taught to like just question things,
Yeah. Is it only for commercial goods we shop around? Boom. Hashtag Rachel Rodriguez.
But yeah, no, I try to question as much as I can and to absorb and learn. I think that's what, if we're an intelligent sort, we should constantly challenge what our belief systems are.
Yeah. I think that's what got us to this point in humanity. There's the fact that we've always questioned what's going on. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we found shady shit there.
Yeah. And that's when you get killed.
Yeah. Revolution, right? So anyway, back to art, okay? I guess there's an art form to that too, I guess art for religion. What are you going to be sketching your painting today?
Yes.
Dope.
Starting.
So this is going to be, what date is this?
This is going to be October 12th.
October 12th. Mm-hmm. Okay.
October 12th, Wednesday, 7 p.m.
Dope.
Yes.
You're getting to see the beginnings of the process right now. So it starts with a blank canvas. She sketches it out in her notebook and then takes it onto the canvas. And I guess you go paint after that, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So I challenged her today because she talks and paints all the time. So I was like, look, now you got to draw and talk to me.
I got this.
See her professionalism. So there was some kids when I was growing up, Let me ask you this. Did you find that you were bad at art when you first started, or were you just like always naturally good at it?
I mean, that's a little difficult to say because I mean, I got frustrated like any other kid would with, I mean, any person really.
It's a skill, right?
Yeah. It's something that you have to practice. And now some people pick up things quicker than others, just like, you know, I suck at math. I'm not really quick with the numbers. Other people are. It just makes sense to them. Then people call that a gift. So, I mean, something makes sense, but they still have to practice every day. I still practice like every day.
Yeah, I mean,
with what I do with painting with a twist, here with Paint Dat, and then my own personal works and commissions that I do. And every painting that I do is a building block and helps me understand a bit more, and thus just making me faster, right? Making it seem like it's effortless, but it's not.
No, yeah, it's impressive what you do.
It's not effortless.
No, it's the years of practice you put into it.
Yeah. The hours of just staring at the painting. If anybody has ever painted before, half of the time you're just staring at it, trying to problem solve. And there's a lot that I equate to just what I've learned through the process of painting, like patience. That's a big one. I learned that patience there's never a limit. You're always just pushing that.
That's a lesson everyone should learn.
Oh my God, patience is the worst.
Yeah. Especially in today's society, we have these contraptions right here when you're hungry.
Yeah.
Now we have these phones right here that they diminish our attention spans. So I mean that's one reason like everyone should work on more patience. I meditate for my patience. Like I think the meditation practice has helped me a lot with that. But no, what I was getting at with this is I had some friends in high school. We all did art in high school, right? They were really good, and it was almost like they picked it up. They had like early affinity for art. Most of them still don't practice art because it's hard to make a living out of doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean you're a good example of that. Like you work so many jobs and just to pursue what you like to do.
Yeah, and with education, I do after school programs for kids kindergarten through 7th grade. And that doesn't pay very well.
Right.
I love it. It's super rewarding. My parents have always said, just go and be a school teacher and be an art teacher. You know, if you're going to do that, it's steady. You have that. There's just, I understand it, but I don't have like that particular calling, if you will, like I said, I'm not a morning person.
No, I feel that. Yeah.
I would get fired just being late like a couple of days in a row.
I completely agree. I feel that because I mean, that was the same reason I do what I do now, because I have an IT degree and I actually went to work in the IT field and I was like, I hate my life. I hate waking up at 7:00 every morning and putting on a pair of slacks and a button-down t-shirt. Clearly that's not me, okay? And then going to a building and sitting in a chair waiting for somebody to tell me their computer's unplugged. It's like, that's not me, okay? Like there's more that I can do in this life.
Yeah. So,
and even like my parents are like, why don't you come up here and get a civil job and just like settle down with someone? And I'm like, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
Like, let me be. And the thing about finding something that you're passionate about nowadays, like you said with this art thing and teaching kids and stuff, you're trying to give back to the younger generation. That should be supported more as a community.
It should.
Yeah.
And the fact that these schools, I mean, they incorporate as much art as possible. I mean, they decorate their bulletin boards. They have math equations that they have like color numbers, you know, and it's just not the same as actually being creative,
right,
and expressing yourself. And we have music class, and that's, I mean, the funds usually get cut from there too, but that's the one that stays. I mean, it's I guess, easier, more accessible. And I don't know. I don't know why, but
no, I think you definitely need to have art. And I'll tell you, even like what you do with the painting with a twist thing, like it's cool and all, but I think kids need to be able to generate their own images in their brain. And that's something you need to learn at a young age. If you don't do that at a young age, then you're not going to learn it.
You need to think for yourself. You need to be able to problem solve. And there's nothing like that that's like putting pencil to paper or whatever kind of medium you're working in. I mean, like I said, I learned a lot about life through art and just like perseverance. And, I mean, there's the whole follow your dreams. And I mean, it's difficult to follow your dreams. It really is. A lot of, things pull you down, and, people who tell you that, you know, you need to be more practical.
Crabs in a bucket.
Yeah. All of that. And
you know, the crabs in a bucket mentality?
No.
If one crab's crawling out of a bucket, then the other crab's pulling back in.
Oh.
Yeah. It's the same kind of thing. Like when you're following your dreams, you're the crab that's kind of crawling out of the bucket, but all the other crabs around you want to tell you to be practical, like do something else. And they're pulling you back in.
Yeah. Got a little emotional. Oh, yeah. But, I went to college just to further my knowledge in it. I was very excited, very much knew. Feel like I've always known that I wanted to be an artist, and I did my best to achieve that and become that, and then to turn that into a profit is where it gets a bit frustrating, because, you know, you have to have a bit of business sense and know when to risk certain things. And a lot of that, which is why I have a couple of jobs, is that I'm a little afraid to make that jump fully, because that would mean for a time at least, I would have to probably live off of the government for a little bit, at least for food, you know, because I am a human being and I can only go so far. I have worked myself sick. I have taught classes to where I've lost my voice because I've been talking and teaching too many days in a row. And that to me just doesn't seem like that's how it should go.
It's impossible for longevity.
Oh, it's definitely hard work to be an artist, because you're essentially an entrepreneur, and you have to stupid song stuck in my head. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them. You know, that just popped up.
No, you're doing a good job with the promotional material and stuff you've been making. It's great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you're on the right track.
I mean, I have a little bit of background in that. But like as an artist, any artist, we wear many hats.
Yeah.
And, I mean, as any person has multiple hobbies and different interests, and mine was always in advertising and marketing, as well as just like, I wanted to be a director. And, so I guess, and like, I forgot about this, but my mom, was in, what is that, field where she worked for, a news station and was in like communications.
Okay.
And, she would edit and do things and put on plays and stuff, and that kind of seeped in. So I have.
Have you ever done any of those? Like put on a play?
Well, yes, but mainly for my family.
Okay.
Yeah. Me being the oldest, I kind of forced my younger cousins into, I'm like, play my game with me. I'm going to give you a part. We reenacted the labyrinth a couple of times. I
saw one of the coolest plays I've seen down here in New Orleans since I've been here was it was this play that my old roommate did, and they did The Exorcist. And the way they did it was they would set out these clear bottles of alcohol on the stage. And there were certain points in the play where they would walk over and they would pour themselves a drink. So they all weren't alcohol. Some of them were water. Some of them were gin and vodka.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was the whole premise of the play, is they would go out and get drunk. Or I think some of them smoked weed before they went out there. They were just like kind of, the actors were all messed up on some substance. I think one of them even took mushrooms before he went out there. But it was so hilarious. It was one of the greatest things I've seen. So I would definitely go back to see one of those. I'm not a huge theater fan, but if someone would put on another one of those in the city of New Orleans, I'm there. It was brilliant.
I did see a really awesome burlesque. I wish I remembered the company that did it. They did Nightmare Before Christmas. It was wonderful.
In burlesque?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. It was really awesome.
See if this guy gives one of us a ticket. No, kept walking. We're good.
See, this is why I don't get up in the morning.
No, you just never know. Yeah. Sometimes they're out here giving tickets every day. Sometimes it's like you go like a month or two and you won't see anybody.
Yeah.
I heard that the city's having issues with the cops right now too.
Yeah, there was like a mass exodus.
Yeah, did that many quit?
There's like over 1,000, I think, or at least that
1,000
many.
quit?
Yeah.
What the freak?
Yeah.
Like, it makes you wonder what's going on. I did see my buddy.
Somebody's not handling the money.
Yeah, right. My buddy Ron John from San Francisco, he was here the other night, and he sent me a message before he came down. He's like, "Is it safe there?" And the message was that
define safe.
Well, he saw that they were hiring civilians to be police officers. There was like a bullet post or something like that on the news, and I was like, "Dude, I've heard nothing about that. I try to stay as far away from the news as I can." Yeah,
I haven't. I've not been keeping up with that. Every once in a while, when I turn on my phone, I have my news and local news on here, but it just gets so depressing.
Yeah, it's all bad stuff.
That's, murders, rapes, and abductions. Hello.
Yeah, this is the news you don't get whenever you don't live in New Orleans. If you're a tourist and coming here, you'll never know this stuff.
My friend moved to Seattle and she was like, there were bunnies and cats on the news. That was like the biggest thing. She was like, I didn't hear about any car thefts or murders or, lock your doors. I was like, holy shit. And I think we've climbed back up to the top as far as like murder capital of
it wouldn't surprise
the
me.
US. Yeah.
Yeah. The stuff that's going on right now in the world is insane. And I think that's part of it. Like, people they don't know how the future is going to go. And you have some people that are just like, whatever, I'm just going to go out and commit this crime.
Yeah.
There's a thing in LA and San Francisco too. I don't know if it's in San Diego, but if it's under $1,000 of theft, they don't prosecute. So people are literally just going into stores, grabbing a handful of stuff and walking out, and they're not doing anything about it.
Oh, wow.
If it's under $1,000 worth of stuff, they just let them go.
Yeah. And
my Ron John was telling me that,
their efforts can be used elsewhere for sure. But like, that's just people being opportunists.
Well, I told Ron John,
that's not good.
I was like, why are you still paying for anything? Like, just walk in there and take shit. Like, if that's the case, everyone should be doing it. The fact that anyone's still paying for anything is nuts.
Yeah.
He said there were Walgreens just shutting down all the time.
Oh my god.
Because Walgreens are one of the stores that are actually hitting a lot. Just going in, grabbing a handful of stuff and walking out. So they said they start closing the doors.
Jesus.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Like, if there was a law here that said that I couldn't prosecute someone for walking in and taking a bottle of liquor, we would have to close down too. Like, it doesn't make sense to running a business that way.
No. Where's the integrity?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. And I feel like our government is probably gonna get me killed. I feel like our government is trying to crash the economy.
Man.
Anyway, we can get back to art.
Yeah.
This is a problem I have. I just start going off the rails. I apologize. I try to bait people into my conversations. Yeah.
You're trying to crash the economy.
I had a buddy, my buddy in Arkansas that I did a podcast with. He owns a gym there. And the whole time I was like interjecting these weird statements like that right there. And finally he just looked at me and I was like, my bad, dude. I'm just trying to bait you into these conversations.
I mean, I don't know too much
Neither
about
do I.
about that. But I mean, I wouldn't put it past. I mean, we are the pawns.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's a lot of us.
Yeah.
And we could change that.
Yeah. Stand up, pawns. Stand up.
It's just, again, taking that leap.
Yeah.
And making sure that other people come along.
That's what I told him, man. I was like, if everyone just goes in and gets their $1,000 worth, we're good. You just need to go into Apple, go into every store and get their $1,000 worth.
I think Walgreens was a sponsor for the new Hocus Pocus 2.
Have you seen it yet?
I have.
Is it good?
I liked it. It's very, I mean,
they released it like last night, right? Or
the 30th. Yeah.
The 30th. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, there's a lot of people who said that they don't like it.
What? Why?
And I mean, you have to expect it. It's a sequel, but I like how they did it. I mean, of course, you expect it to be cheesy.
Yeah, the first one was.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's also not the 90s.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Like I feel like the teenagers are still also like awful teenagers, and they just are tricking the Sanderson sisters. Like they would trick anybody. I mean, I had babysat for a couple of like preteens, and they tricked me into eating dog food. It looked like Cheetos. I don't know if you've seen those dog treats.
I've seen them. I've eaten some.
Yeah, you've eaten some.
Yeah.
And they just like, I lost all credibility with them after that, because they were like, oh, we can get her to do it.
I enjoy trying dog food. It may be a weird statement to say, but my buddies in California have dog food made out of deer meat. Yeah, like their dog is allergic to normal dog food. So they have to go to this place and literally buy dog food made out of deer meat.
That's the thing too. Like, what are we feeding our animals?
So in my opinion on this, there's a guy that I follow. His name is Wallach, Dr. Wallach. Mm-hmm. He has a page on Instagram. It's called Wallach Warriors. Highly recommend looking it up. They give all kinds of diet tips and stuff. But he was a veterinarian, and he's transitioned over into like more human situation, because he said that we've cured most diseases in animals based off giving them a mineral and nutrient dense diet. And if you look at our diets, they're basically just sugar. Mm-hmm. Like we're not eating mineral and nutrient dense foods anymore. Like if you eat whole foods, and you're getting most of it, but most of the stuff we're eating is processed foods, chemical processed foods. So he was saying that they would give these animals these tablets that they were dense mineral and nutrients, and it would cure a lot of the diseases they have. So our animals are actually healthier than we are.
Yeah. Food should not look exactly the same when you find a French fry in your car like a month later.
Oh, I didn't even know. So that's like cardboard then, huh?
Fine. Go have McDonald's, drop a fry there just for an experiment.
I've seen them do it with a burger before.
Ooh, a burger.
Yeah, they took a McDonald's burger and they put it in a like a glass case and like filmed it for 30 days or something. Nothing.
Didn't change.
No, nothing.
Shit. Not even the bread?
Not even the bread. Freaking terrifying, dude.
I mean, shit.
No, it's cardboard and plastic, probably.
Fiberglass, maybe even.
It's like, Bill Burr has a skit on this. It's hilarious. He's like, what McDonald's is good for is knocking kids out. He's like, your kids are in the back seat. They're yelling and screaming. You just go to McDonald's, pull through. Their little bodies can't handle all the chemicals you're putting in them, so they just pass out. And I was like, that's such a Bill Burr thing to do. I freaking love it.
Instead of Benadryl,
Yeah, just hit him with some McDonald's, man. Knock them out.
I really don't like McDonald's.
But they sell so much of it every year. And it's so cheap, crappy food. It fills people up.
Yeah.
That's a good way to feed all your slaves,
Yeah, just keep them immobilized.
Yeah, hit them with some McDonald's, keep their stomachs full, let them keep going, make them sick, make them spend all their money on the medical care, milk them till they die, let the next generation come up and repeat. Like it's easily explainable, but to get everyone to stand up, like you said, and start fighting back. I mean, I think
that's partially why, like in the early 2000s, we had like such a big like surge of celebrity chefs as well, because there's just this epidemic of, overweight people, and just even if you went to the gym and did some workout, like at least two, 3 times a week, and you're eating this other shit, it's all you're diet. Not gonna see it.
Yeah,
you're not gonna see it.
100%
Come
diet.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say it's probably 90% diet, 10% moving your body. Yeah, actually, I designed the fitness workouts for the high school that I used to go to. So I help them out with those things, kind of like to give back to those guys. And yeah, one of the things I tell all the guys there, it's all about diet. Like you can have, you want a consistent workout routine just because you're trying to get your body primed to burn those calories and trying to move that lymph fluid through the body, but you have to watch your diet. And like you said, when you're eating all this crap all the time, and none of us know these things. You're not taught these things in high school or anything.
No. I mean, I had one health class that actually touched upon diet.
They actually did that? Oh, that's dope.
But I was also a senior during Katrina. So I went around to different schools. So my school didn't really touch on, I mean, they were like, yes, it's important, but they didn't really go into, I mean, the PE teacher wasn't a nutritionist, So I mean,
they don't know the knowledge either.
I mean, I think also nutritionists should be on our healthcare. That would be a big preventative thing. Isn't that what doctors are there to be? Preventative care. They're there to share that information so you don't have to go and see them.
Now you're touching on something that's going to get you killed. I mean, it's a great point. Like we definitely need, because the nutrition is, your body wants to heal itself. Put it that way. If you put the correct pieces in the body will fix itself. It's almost like having a house that's broken down. If you buy the correct pieces from Lowe's and come home, and you put the correct pieces in the house, it'll fix itself. Yeah, if the house was autonomous.
Yeah, but
I have friends that are dietitians, and they would say the same exact thing. They would say that that's where health should start. That's where the physicians should start with health, rather than just giving you a pill to fix something. But you know what? When you give someone a pill to fix something, then we can charge the insurance for it, so we can make more money off of it. If we actually cure people,
it always comes back to that.
Yeah, no, if you actually cure people, then, there's no one to make money off of.
It's not like people are never going to get sick. I don't understand that. I mean, it's going to happen. We have pestilence and disease. It's like, it's always been there. I mean, even as warfare, it's been there just from one invasion from another country and introducing their germs into just that local watering hole or whatever. People are always going to get sick regardless. And there's just so many, that's why we just have to do it ourselves.
Yeah, it's exactly
We just
right.
have to do it ourselves. Unfortunately,
grow
we're not supported.
Yeah, grow your own garden.
By our governments that we're supposedly supposed to trust.
That's one reason I like Arkansas, is because all the people around the area that my family live, they all have their own garden they make every year, and they all communicate with each other on what they're growing. So then if one person grows one thing, the other person will grow something else, and they'll trade it.
Oh my God. Yeah. I did a garden, one of, the pandemic bingo checklist. I grew a garden.
What'd you grow?
I had a lot of herbs, and I did cucumbers. Cucumbers are insane. They love it here.
Really?
I had so many I didn't know what to do with. Like I had cucumber lime water throughout. My face looked amazing. I was so hydrated. I was eating cucumber salads, and I gave so many to my friends, and then they started getting I was experimenting with them. Like I had enough, I made it to where I would pick them so they would be pickling size. So I got into pickling a little bit, which was fun. We also grew onions and bell peppers. I really loved my bell peppers, but then
Did you try watermelon?
it died.
Did you try watermelon?
I have not tried watermelon.
So I wonder if cucumbers like it so much because the ground is so saturated. They're like 90% water. So watermelons will probably grow like crazy down here too.
Yeah. I mean, I had tons and tons of bees in my garden.
That's good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise you have to go pollinate yourself.
Yeah.
You have to go find the female and male flowers and just cross pollinate them.
I saw we were walking to this hot dog stand the other day called Glizzy's.
Glizzy's.
Yeah, Glizzy's hot dogs. If you ever get a chance, check them out. They're pretty good. On the way there, we walked by this community garden. I think those are really cool. The fact that people are doing community gardens on vacant lots and stuff. I think it would be dope to have a really big one right down there by the Humble Bagel place. I wonder who owns that. I need to check it out.
I mean, yeah, that's been vacant for a while.
Yeah, it'd be a cool community garden.
Now, that's one of the reasons why. Have you ever heard of Paradigm Gardens? They're in Central City, I believe. It's like right behind that big church with the gold steeple.
That's where I think it's where we were.
Yeah.
Is it a community garden?
It's I don't know if it's community, but they're essentially like homegrown restaurant. They have goats there. They make all of their stuff. They have a chef that prepares it. You go and buy a seat during I think, was it the summer, or maybe it's in the winter when it gets a little cooler. They have live music there. They have music weeks. And
I had to go check that out.
it's really fun. It was really cool. And you can bring your own wine or beverages there.
I'm down with that.
And they have other pop-ups, so they support local businesses as well. So
Yeah, that wasn't
really cool.
That wasn't the place we were at. It was somewhere over in Central City where we were walking. That's where Glizzy's was. But it wasn't that place. This was just like a vacant lot in between two houses, and they had fences up, and they had like all kinds of little gardens and stuff in there. A compost heap in the back.
Oh man, I wanted to get into composting.
I think it's pretty easy, right?
I mean, I guess
Don't you just dig a hole and
not necessarily.
What do you
just
do?
digging a hole.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you need worms as well.
Well, they're in the ground though, right?
Well,
Or do you have to put them in there?
well, I mean, I don't know. You might have like a non-nutrient rich like area. Maybe it's just compacted mud because we are 8 feet below sea level.
True.
So you kind of have to raise it up. The compost, I would assume here would have to be like built up
Above
a
ground
bit.
compost?
Yeah. I mean, you would have to put like sticks and twigs and stuff and then cardboard and other things. So there's like layers.
Like I should know this because one of my science projects when I was in like 7th or 8th grade was to make a compost. So we took a shoebox and we put the worms in it this time, and we put like the dirt in it, and we add these like I guess a cardboard and stuff was in there. Then we had vegetables and things like that in there. And over the summer, because we did it, and then the summer happened, and my teacher kept putting stuff in there, and she said the worms got massive.
They got huge.
They got huge. Yeah, just in this cardboard box, just eating all this food, just swimming around through the old dirt.
Yep.
That's pretty dope.
Yep. That's how we get those sandworms, from Dune.
You just keep feeding them your scraps.
Yes, they create the spice.
Then eventually they eat humans.
I mean, they do. They do create the spice. They fertilize the soil, make it viable, giving the plants nutrients.
Do you think that's where they got that from?
Huh?
Probably so, right?
I mean, they're worms.
Makes sense. What about tremors? Is that the same thing?
I would say so.
Oh, those are both set in the same
Tremors.
planet.
Ooh.
Tremors was just before all that other stuff.
Before.
Yeah. Then the worms got bigger and bigger, and they started pooping out spice.
Then the rain stopped.
Yeah, it became a desert planet. Man, we just did this. We connected the dots. You heard it here first.
I had it wasn't a very long conversation with a bartender about that one time. I was just like, let me tell you what I learned about worms today.
It was about tremors and stuff?
I connected it to tremors and
Nice.
Dune. Oh, I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure I'm very entertaining.
I mean, some bartenders are into this. That's why I love bartending, because I would sit there and entertain that conversation for hours. But I know some bartenders are like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Who is this? No, I love that stuff.
Let me tell you about worm poop and what I learned about worms today.
I learned so much about the world bartending on Bourbon Street.
Oh, I'm
Because
sure.
there are people coming in. It was a quiet bar, kind of like this one. So I actually had to sit down and communicate with people when they came in the bar. And there are people from all over the world coming in. So it was so cool that what I started doing was I started asking them similar questions because I wanted to see if their responses were similar as the people from the other state that I knew or the other country that I knew. And it was so fascinating to me that humans are pretty much all similar. Mm-hmm. But like we just don't, we're separated by these ideas of, well, I'm from this place, I'm from that place. It's like, no, you're all the same.
We're all earthlings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just, we just happen to be deposited at different areas, or our ancestors migrated.
Yeah. And then we're taught that we're from the United States. We're taught the Pledge of Allegiance at a very young age. Mm-hmm. Like when you think about that, like I pledge allegiance to the United States of America. Screw you. Okay. Like pledge allegiance to the earth. Why can't we all just be earthlings?
Yeah. Yeah. But somebody has to rule and manage. Those are the narcissists of the world.
Well, speaking of ruling, there has to be a king of the earth, right?
Oh, I mean, somebody has to represent us, right?
There has to be one. Like,
there's too many voices.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be like one person that's like, yeah, I rule this planet. You'll never meet him, but like there's got to be one that thinks he owns everything.
Mm-hmm. I have that kind of. It sounds. It's gonna sound crazy.
Just trust me, it won't sound any crazier than the crap that I say.
But like optimistic nihilism.
Okay.
Like I'm hopeful of that we can always change and better ourselves and the planet. Mm-hmm. But I'm also at the same time, I was like, yeah, I don't see it right now. I'm reminded of the Lord of the Rings, where there's just a little bit of hope that keeps the evil at bay,
Yeah.
And, that's where we each as an individual can change that tide. Unfortunately, sometimes we're forced in the most drastic of ways, and that's war, in order to see the similarities and have that connection, saying like, oh yeah, we're all fighting each other because of oil, because of land. Somebody just wants to be a steward over it. Mm-hmm. And that's all. Yeah.
I think people just want to make money off war. I don't think that one of the books I've been reading is called The Human Zoo. And The Human Zoo, he breaks this down. He's like, the problem with war nowadays is the generals aren't fighting. The leaders of the countries aren't on the front lines. So they want to go to war because they're literally just making a profit off of it. Like they're throwing people like fodder at this war and people are dying, but they don't have nothing's happening with them. So he said that's a real big problem with war because you end up having these wars all the time. If you had the leaders on the front line, if the kings were down there fighting on the front lines, they would try to work it out without being a war because no one actually wants to die. So when you're putting yourself in danger, you're like, okay, we don't need to fight. Let's work this out and communicate. But when you're not in any danger, it's like, fucking go at them. Throw them at the war.
Yeah. Yeah. Until it becomes a bit more personal. Mm-hmm. And we're just sheep.
Back to drawing.
Back to drawing a little bit. I was like, I've been talking for a bit. Let me draw a little bit more.
So how long does it normally take you when I'm not, feeding you full of weird stuff to draw one of these? And how do you come up with the ideas too?
I sometimes just start off with shapes and just, I kind of, try to play with different techniques and I try to be a little bit more whimsical. A lot of my stuff tends to get a little overworked and become really neat.
Right.
And I want it to be a little bit more expressive and looser in the brushstrokes and techniques. And
well, yeah, you're also like, you have to walk these people through painting this. So it can't be too like detailed, right? It has to be kind of.
Yeah, like that one.
Yeah, no,
I was really struggling to not add more. It really pained me.
How did everyone make, were they able to paint it?
They did great.
They did?
See?
Yeah. You got a picture of it?
Yeah. They did fantastic.
I love that background you got there.
Thank you.
You said the Galaxy?
Yeah. It's the Ultra.
The Ultra?
22.
It's the new one?
Yeah. 222.
Yeah, I just had this old iPhone here.
Just from this couple right here.
Can I show it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, those are good.
I mean, I made a stencil, so I helped them out a bit because that also helps with time.
Those are really good.
But
for everyone out there, the ones that are listening on Spotify, you don't get to see it. That's so dope.
Yeah. But
so what was
they did great.
What part of it was the stencil?
The house and the legs. It was just
okay.
Like, so they didn't have any of the other lines in between. It was just the general shape.
So they basically they do the background, you put the stencil on and stencil it out, and they paint the house in.
I think I might have a picture. I'll try to. Everything is content these days.
That's true, man. It's so true.
So we started off with blending in that atmospheric background to give it some depth. Mm-hmm. And then you can kind of see there, they have the stencil, and we're just starting to put the different pieces together.
That's so awesome. Do you mind? I'll restart that video. Should play again.
Yeah.
See if they can see that.
Yeah. What I love is that they can create something like now this is not speaking for everyone who's attending or who has done a painting or a painting with a twist like night, but you give someone else a canvas and a paintbrush and you're like, here you go. Here's all your colors. You can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. That's daunting.
Yeah, it's a lot.
For a lot of people. Mm-hmm. There's some people who are like, okay, I'll get something going on. And then they run into their first obstacle and some may give up. They're going along. Okay, I've gotten through that first barrier. Oh, here's another obstacle. It's a little bit beyond what I know how to fix or do. So I'm going to give up or keep on persevering. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of tying back to like what I was saying, some of the lessons that I've learned from art. And you can see the people who don't really give in to those little trials. There's a lot of people who do give into those when they're tested. Mm-hmm. They're like, I'm going to just give up. What's the point of it anyways? Mm-hmm. And what do they learn? Absolutely nothing. No. I mean, you have to go through these struggles. That's another way to put it, but you don't really have to struggle so much. It's just mainly just going through the process and not like basically breaking the idea that things have to be a certain way because people are perceiving you a certain way. You have to be perfect. You have to have these, at least with art, these straight outlines. If you have an edge of the house, like what, God forbid it being crooked a little bit, like sometimes that adds character. I mean, there's
well, look at humans.
What kind of stories would we have without crooked people?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like if you just look at humans, you'll see that like we're all
or traumas.
Perfect. Yeah. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. We each have our own individual traumas, whether, you acknowledge it as such. But it doesn't have to be like the worst trauma out there, in order for you to come out of the ashes. Yeah. Like a phoenix and just like, you see what it is, you kind of adapt and then try to keep on going, because if you stop, that's when your soul dies. That's when you just like, you're not living anymore. You're just another cog.
You're existing.
You're just barely. just barely existing.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it is this is how systems work on this planet. So if you want to build muscles, you go to the gym, you tear them down and they build back stronger.
Yeah.
Okay. If you look at the human body will get sick and then it'll release antibodies and then the body's stronger. The next time you won't get the virus again or kill it right when it comes in. And same thing with like just humans in general. The way to build strong and resilient humans is to put them through the struggles of life. If you never had struggles in life, and we see this all the time with like extremely wealthy people with generational wealth, there's no struggle they come into. Like they have everything given to them their entire life, and it makes pieces of shit humans.
Yes.
Like if you actually have struggles that you're going through, that's what's going to make you a nice human, a resilient human. Yeah. So I completely agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, because that's actually, I forgot who wrote that book. It's one of my favorite writers, Malcolm Gladwell.
Never heard of him.
No, you should read him.
I've heard of the name, but what's the book? What book is it?
Well, it was one of.
I'll check it out.
It was my roommate had one of, I don't know if it's the latest book, but it was.
You can say it later.
It was a book about statistics and stuff, but the one that I really liked was Blink, and I want to read the one that my roommate got to. I just got into my whole like fantasy, like science fiction stuff. I'm reading Isaac Asimov right now, Foundation.
I've heard of that guy too.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. That's really what Star Wars is based off of.
Really?
I mean, people say Dune, but honestly, it could be both. Yeah. It could be a bit of both. I'm sure George Lucas read both of them. Well,
I've never heard of the Foundation story. What's is it about like space and stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes place in space. And Isaac Asimov, he had a degree in history, and I think he was like maybe even taught it at university. And he incorporated that. He just had a love for science fiction, and what he studied was patterns in how empires rose and fall.
I need to read this. Okay.
How and like just even reading his like little autobiography in the beginning of the book was just so interesting. And they even have like a timeline of when he was writing. And I love when because I'll do that on my own, like when I first found out about J.R.R. Tolkien and how that was kind of loosely based off of, the Great War and his friendships and how they went from college in Oxford to fighting in the trenches and I could see how that correlates. Like that is terrible evil right there.
So what year was Asimov writing?
I can't tell you that right now. I don't know. Well, no, I can look it up. But
so the patterns of history thing, I love that because there's a pattern emerging right now. But it's the patterns isn't emerging, but it's the patterns happening again right now, and a lot of people don't see it yet. But one of the it's a currency or a global currency right now. So U.S. is the global currency. But if you start looking at the pattern throughout history, there's a clear pattern of the rise and the fall of empires. And really global currencies is what they're looking at. So right now, the global currency for the United States, the dollar, is falling at a very fast rate. Okay, it's because we're printing money. We're printing money, so much money. We're printing it out. And this is exactly what's happened in the past. And right after this, what normally happens is a war breaks out. And then from the ashes will rise a new world currency. Okay. So I think it's already taking place. The motions are already set.
What's your prediction?
U.S. dollars falling. China is the next in line to rise. They're going to be the next global currency, and it's going to be a digital currency. Yeah, they've already switched to digital currency. Like last month, they made the complete change to digital currency.
Like crypto stuff?
Like crypto, yeah, digital currency. Yeah, so I think there's going to be a war coming up very soon. And it may be another world war. I don't know.
That's just somebody else looking to the future. Yeah, because when you don't innovate and you're stuck in your ways, you're bound to fall.
Yeah. Well, I think
We're
that
gonna get left behind.
honestly, I think they might be trying to do it in a way where there's not a war. Because if you look at what China's been doing over the past year or two, they've been buying up land in all these other countries. So they're basically doing a takeover, a gentle takeover of other countries. So the US dollar is going to fall. China's going to come in with their digital currencies and they're going to run the world. It's the pattern. Like it's literally, you can look through history and see that it's happened 4 other times in our written history. And this is the 5th time it's going to happen.
I can't remember what I was going to say about
I'm
Malcolm
sorry.
Gladwell. No, it's okay.
I did it again.
I was trying to get it back, and I can't remember.
Malcolm Gladwell. You gotta let me text me his book whenever you the name of it that you're reading. I need a new book to read because the one I'm reading right now is on Charlie Manson. I need to get away from this.
Yeah.
It's Charlie Manson and it's Chaos and Charlie Manson and the corrupt history of the 60s or something like that. So I'm halfway through it right now, but I need to switch over to something else because it's painting him in a good light, honestly.
Well, I mean, it's all about our perspective.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like this guy, he's the guy who wrote this book. This isn't Helter Skelter. Helter Skelter basically painting them in a bad light. But this journalist went back and he started interviewing everyone that was involved with the case. And he started realizing that there was a lot of shady characters involved with the entire murders. So that's why it's making Charlie, he was definitely on another level of craziness, right? The things he was doing and the stuff that they were doing at that at Spawn Ranch was insane. But there was a reason behind it. And this guy is giving you the reason of why it all happened that way.
Yeah, you hear somebody's their side and it starts to make sense. But what was I going to say? There was, I had a history teacher in high school who went about introducing new lessons in a very peculiar way, kind of like where, so I have this person is a Catholic and loves his family, gives to the community, does all this stuff. And then there's this person who's very selfish, a very rich person. And they're in charge making these blah, 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 this rule, that rule, whatever. And then, and he was like, that first person was Hitler.
I like that. I like that lesson. Yeah.
But that was just like me trying to make an example, but yeah, he would just kind of present both sides of before we would learn about a war, basically, any side of the war. He'd be like, this is what this person is. And this is what that person is. He would have us kind of say which side we're, and I mean, those of us who already kind of read ahead in the lesson knew what he was getting at, but I
think it's a good way to teach lessons.
It is, because you can see that it's just based off of this person's in power. This person's not doing something, not listening to the people. This person wants to change it.
Yeah.
And of course you want to back the person who's for change, but then sometimes that gets corrupt.
So my thing with Hitler, and this has made a lot of people get mad at me and walk out of conversations that I'm having with them. But it's the same kind of thing you're saying is question history. There's nothing that you can ever say to me that's going to make me want to genocide an entire race of people. People say, well, it's because you're not crazy. And I'm like, no, ask any human that you come in contact, even the crazy ones. What could you say to this person to make them want to genocide? No one wants to kill everyone. That's crazy. So I'm like, what was actually going on to make this happen? All we really know is what we've been taught in school. We don't actually know what happened back then.
I started, my dad's really into World War II history. So, by proxy, I kind of would sit with him watching the shows on the History Channel and whatnot. And then kind of going off on my own deep dive as well as I could. But there is see, I need to eat breakfast because then my brain will work better. what was the point that I was going to make? I lost it.
Well,
I
some
dropped it.
people say that Hitler that Hitler did it all because he didn't get into art school. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
So this was just one big.
Yeah, that's a horrible argument to make. Okay. That's why I tell everyone, I'm like, it's a horrible argument. Why are you even making this argument? He killed everyone because he didn't get to art school. That's so crazy to me. It'd be like saying if no one showed up for Paint Dat and you're like, fuck it, I'm killing everyone now.
Yep.
It's not a good enough reason for me. That's why I keep asking the question. Yeah. But I don't know how anyone buys it. That's a reason to genocide a whole race.
No, but like what was really interesting was for me is the psychological, like how it didn't just happen. It happens over time. That's like kind of how you can tie in like systemic racism and all that. It's little bits that are doctor to you, you know, and
propaganda,
just certain experiences, somebody stretching the truth even, and making them look better, you know? And
what does your dad think
about?
Well, you said he was into World War II.
Yeah, no, he loves the innovation of what war brings, how like the scientists and engineers just create these amazing machines that didn't really exist before. And like, that's how the Roman Empire built these massive bridges.
Oh, the aqueducts and things.
Yeah. That innovation is insane. Like, unfortunately it had to come through them wanting to invade and take over more land to govern and pillage. But you know, unfortunately,
even
that's how things work here.
With the Nazi scientists, you know, we accepted them into all the other countries after the war was over, because the research they were doing, even though it was like, you know, very bad research, they were taking twins and like torturing one to see if the other felt it. Do you know this stuff?
Damn.
Yeah, they were doing shit like this, but we took all their scientists in just to get their research after the fact. Even the rockets. That's why we were, that's why we were so good at building rockets after the fact.
I've heard the
Operation Paperclip or something.
I've heard rumors about, you know, Nazis working for NASA.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Operation Paperclip. We accepted a large majority of them. I think some of them went to Russia and stuff. Yeah, but that's how we gained a lot of our technology.
This is completely different, but I just think of that little bouncy paper clip. You remember?
Oh, the one on the computer? Yeah. Everyone knows what that is.
He had a name.
Did he?
Yeah. It had a name. A little paper clip guy. It had a name.
I know
it does.
Why is it still on there? Do they still have those?
No.
What is it now? Like Alexa or something? Cortana. It's Cortana now.
Cortana.
I think so. Yeah. You don't have it's like on Windows computers. I think they have a Cortana. Yeah. It's in the bottom left corner. And I think you can either, you can click it or you can just type in questions.
Google will know. What's the paper? Like things that I just wish I could recall.
No, Google will definitely know. I'm going to go with Jared. It's Jared.
Name. Come on. Clip it.
There's no way that's right.
Clippy. Clip it or Clippy.
What? That's not original at all. Come on, guys.
Oh.
It might work. It might be what it is.
Clippy. There you are.
Can you say what is the new one? What is the new Clippy? I think it's Cortana.
Hey Google. What is the new Clippy? Wait, I think it just picked up you.
Here are the top search results.
Resurrects Clippy again after brutally killing him off.
What? Google is nuts, man. We were Googling something the other night and someone was like, I don't want to Google this. I want to Google to know that I'm thinking about stuff like this. And I was like, give it to me. I don't care. I Google so much weird shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's what kind of database they have on me there. They're probably like, who is this guy? I mean, I don't even know, man. Sometimes my brain just like finds funky stuff.
Only until you become like an actual threat or have those certain friends that rule the world, you know?
No, I think me Googling merkins.
Merkins?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to care about me Googling merkins. Like, how do you make a merkin? Yeah, just weird stuff like that. So,
how do you make a merkin? What do they use? Hair?
Oh,
like from the head?
Okay,
or it's
so
like
do you know that I make them, right?
you make them?
Have you never seen my one over there on the shirt mannequin?
Oh yeah,
it's my merkin. Yeah, it's one of them. The way I made that one, I tried it with my beard hair at one point in time, but I couldn't get my beard hair to stay soft. And I talked to a barber about it. And he said I should have used dry conditioner. I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, I never dry conditioned anything. But he said if you dry condition it and leave it in over time, it'll make it soft. But what I normally do is I'll just take yarn. And I'll take yarn and I'll like glue it really close together on some kind of backing. I usually use like cardboard or something. But then I'll take and I'll trim it down and I'll trim the outsides of it. Pretty simple to make, yeah.
I mean, merkins, they were used by prostitutes because they got crabs and they had to shave.
That's what they used.
And they wanted the pubic hair down there.
Well, I know they also use them in film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like if there's a 70s piece they're doing, and rather than having all the females grow out large bushes, they'll just take and slap a merkin on it.
Some people can't.
Can't grow a large bush?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's why they make merkins.
That's why we still have merkins. Apparently still useful.
Anyway, Rachel.
Yes.
Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. My Paint Dat one is paint_dat_art. Or you can find my art at r.rodriguezart_ on Instagram. And, I will be hanging up some of my art here at another bar. And I actually currently have some art in a bed and breakfast in a meet called Bienvenue Mon Ami. It's a lovely little spot to retreat from the hustle and bustle of the city. And Miss Laura and Mr. Jeff, who are there, and the owners. Miss Laura is a great cook. They're great hosts.
And these are all for sale that you're hanging
These
up.
are for sale, yes. So I will also be linking that to my personal Instagram. So once they're done up there, I can sell them.
Awesome. And then she's here on the 12th. And every other Wednesday. Every other Wednesday, yeah. So you guys make it through and come paint that.
Yes. We can have fun conversations like this one.
Right? Yeah.
I like to chat while I paint, so we'll do that.
All right, Rachel, thank you for coming in today, babe.
Thank you.